Welcome to Life of Hair. My name is James Atkinson. Thank you very much for joining to this week's episode. Now, I've made a video similar to this in the past, but I already want to talk about it in a bit more detail because it's been my go-to way of layering hair. It removes weight, just like layers. It creates movement and texture, just like layers. But it stops that bulking, triangular shape that traditional layers quite often create when we use them. Now, not everybody's going to agree with this technique, and I'm fully ready for that in the comment section, so please fire away. I'm always here for everyone's opinions. But this has become my go-to way of styling layers into anybody's hair, creating texture, movement, volume, and all of the above. So if you're looking for a new way to layer your hair, or you're looking for a bit of inspiration for something new, for some particular clients that you've got in mind, then this could be the video for you. If you enjoy it, hit the thumbs up button, subscribe if you're new here. Loads of videos here on the channel, new videos each and every week. Now I'm going into the theory of this just to start with, just so you fully understand what we're trying to achieve here. But we're going to look into the actual technique itself now. It's a cracking technique. It does require just a second of your concentration, like all good techniques, for you to execute well. Right, so let's just imagine that this works for just about any hair type, but you've just got to adapt it a little bit dependent on the hair type. Now, this hair's dry. You can do this to wet hair, and I've done it to wet hair many, many times. And there's only two differences really between wet and dry. The first being that onto dry hair, you take out less hair. So for those of you who have never tried something like this and may find it a little bit scary, dry hair is going to be the answer for your first attempts. When you get a bit more confident, be my guest to do it on wet hair. Can be done on curly hair. Wouldn't necessarily do it on really curly textured hair, but wavy and to pretty curly. I've got an example of probably what you could do it on. You can do this technique and it frees up movement and texture and creates volume in the hair. You do need to think a little bit about how you go about this technique, and it could be done with a razor. If you'd like to see a razor alternative, please let me know down in the comments and I'll happily make that video for you. But for me, this has become one of my clients' absolute staple haircuts because a lot of people just prefer the way that it doesn't grow out into two haircuts potentially. Sometimes, especially if they've got kind of wavy hair and it can get a bit bunched up on top and then come in and they feel like they've got two haircuts from a traditional layering pattern. And that's a specific ailment of having curly hair that you will recognize. Some of you that have got curly hair or cut curly clients, and you get those kind of two haircut arrangements if you're not careful, depending on the desired length that you choose. Again, layering a bob like this, that can also create issues. Now, as it stands, this is currently just got pretty much a one length haircut on it. It's got a tiny bit of layer from an old haircut. So I tried to make it as one length as possible. Now, obviously, inside every single client's hair, there's different lengths, different pieces of hair. And when we layer hair, because we were traditionally taught that what we do is we either elevate the hair out straight up 90 degrees, like so, cut a square line like that. That hair then falls back into place and we have a short piece, and that cascades or concurrently runs into the length, okay? So it will run down, and in fact, actually, there is, as I mentioned, there is a tiny bit of layer in this haircut from an old haircut. So that's imagine we've just cut this line, and then this is the perimeter just here, and this is where the layers stop there. And there's hair in between all of those points, right? But that means that effectively this hair on top can stick out, and it will create a shape, good or bad, dependent on what we feel about it. The other way we can layer hair is take vertical section, straight down the head, and pull it out sideways as so, cut a square line, remove the weight, and the hair between this point and that point will be removed, and the perimeter will be thinned out using that technique. But we will then create another corner, because whenever we cut a straight line, no matter what we do, we cut a straight line, we create a corner. And now remember, the side of the head, the hair that sits in this rectangular section to the back of the ear, okay, has got less hair in it than the back because of the ear, because we've got hair to here, from there to there, double the amount of hair virtually that we've got in the back. So we need to be careful about how much weight we take away from here versus how much weight we can take away from here. So that's one thing to bear in mind. I'm going to stick a clip in this front section for now, and I'm going to work on this back left-hand quadrant. So what I like to do is take a piece of hair that runs roughly in line with the top of the ear. This is the piece of hair that you don't have in the front side. We can deal with this completely independently, okay? So what I like to do then, assess how much weight and density we've got in this hair and how much we'd like to remove. Now, if we don't want to eat too much off the perimeter and we want to keep the perimeter nice and solid, I suggest you split this section in roughly half, okay? We're then going to come in with our scissors vertical, and we're going to cut slices down the hair. We're going to open and close the blade. We're not slide cutting. We are cutting through the hair about 1 centimetre apart all the way through. There's some of the hair that we've just removed. Okay, some more will definitely come with it, right? And then, so we've got shorter and longer pieces within this section. We can freehand it a little bit if we want to, just to create a little bit more lower down in the lengths, like this, for example. Okay, but that is primarily how we'd go about it. Now, I know what you're going to say. I know everybody's going to join the comment sections. How does this grow out? It grows out really well. Just don't go crazy. Don't go overboard with the amount that you do. All right, we can take our next section now. This is the top section. Okay, we can come in and we can just cut through the section every centimetre with our scissors facing downwards. We don't want to be up here. Okay, we don't want to be up at the top of the parietal ridge area or the top of the occipital bone, because we don't want to create really, really short pieces in the hair. And we can see what we've removed from that section almost immediately. Okay, drop the section down and we can come in and we can just freehand our little bits of hair further through, just like that, and give it a good once over, back again, about every centimetre or so. We can see now that when we start to move this, it starts to move like we've got layers in the hair, okay? Texture, movement. So now we've done that bit, we can move on to our front section. And the great thing about this technique is it's super fast, okay? It's super fast, invisible layers. And the reason we call them invisible layers is because, well, remember that there is no start or stop like a traditional layer. There's no point at which you're having to blend in a shorter piece. So we're going to take a section of hair, we're going to elevate it up higher, right? And we're going to be very, very mindful that this hair is thinner anyway. So we're going to take less hair away. We'll take our next section and split that top section into two. Okay, we're going to come in and we're going to channel cut down the head like so. Okay, and that's going to take away bulk. It's going to slim the shape down if that's the necessary result. Okay, but it's also going to provide texture and movement. Now, yes, some people will describe this as just a thinning technique. Of course you will. Yes, I understand that completely. I've been in this game a long time. I've seen all the tricks in the book. But this particular technique, and we can start to see now how this hair is sitting out on all of these layers that we've created, all these smaller pieces of hair within the hair that's like scaffolding, but it doesn't have a start or stop. And that is why it's become my go-to layering technique. I know it's a texturizing technique fundamentally. I know that it's called channel cutting and it's good for removing weight and bulk from the hair, and it's good for thinning hair. So it's like thinning layers, it's texture, it's layers in one move. That's why it's so good, because you're saving such a tremendous amount of time. It's not overpowering the shape that you've created, it's just adding to a little bit of the shape here. Whereas with this more traditional layer, which has got a long traditional layer in it, when we lift it, it tends to get a bit flat, a bit floppy, especially here. Whereas on this side, we're going to see more, no matter how much picking up of this we do, we're going to see a flatter result there. Whereas this side, when people get their hands in their hair, you know, and do a bit of that, you know, to get a bit of texture, we've got those shorter lengths to hold up that shape and give us that beautiful movement. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. If you've got any questions about this technique, please let me know down in the comment section. Have a great week, and I'll see you in the next one.